Hello everybody, it's Fufu here, and we're doing another experiment today. This experiment video is very much informed by previous ones. It's one that is probably one of the most requested so far, and that is to do with Ditto and Gardevoir. Obviously I've been using them a lot recently to see what crazy Z moves they can use. Gardevoir can trace abilities and then try to use Z moves, and Ditto can transform into Pokemon that can't usually use Z moves and see if that can work. So we've seen a lot of them recently, and people have been asking what happens when Trace meets Imposter. So I think this is going to be quite fun to find out. So yeah, it's just very heavily requested, and that's why I'm doing it. I'm sure that you could find the information out elsewhere, but why would you do that when you've got the action right here? And whatever happens is going to be interesting. So Gardevoir is actually naturally faster than Ditto, so it should potentially trace the Imposter and turn into Ditto. But then Ditto's Imposter should activate, and then what does it do? Like transform into itself? Or I don't know. Maybe Trace won't activate. We see that it doesn't always activate, like with Battle Bond. And in that case, Ditto will transform into Gardevoir, but then we've got Gardevoir's Trace and Ditto's Trace going off against each other, and that's interesting too. So it should just be quite an interesting matchup to see what happens. It's going to be very quick though, so it'll happen as soon as I send them out. So I'll just set this up. As always, if you enjoy this kind of content, please leave a like. I really appreciate it, just because sometimes I get dislikes and it's good to know if people are enjoying it or not. So definitely remember to leave a like if you do enjoy it, and also get in that comment section, get discussing things. I love all the discussion that goes on, all the really interesting questions. You guys are so clever, you've come up with so many interesting thoughts just like this one. As I say, if you've got a good idea for a video, it could well become reality, as you are seeing here, and it's going to happen right now. So whose ability activates? Do any abilities activate? What's going to go on here? So Imposter activates. That means Trace is not going to activate because Gardevoir's Trace will go first, and then we also see that neither Trace activate once the Imposter happens. So that was probably the least inspiring way that could have gone down. So Trace doesn't copy Imposter. That's something that's really important, and that's kind of a theme we're seeing so far with this, because Trace couldn't copy Battle Bond, and I think it's anything to do with form changes that Trace does not copy. So that's quite interesting. And then we see Imposter happen, Ditto changes, and then Trace doesn't activate because they've both got Trace. So why would it activate? It would be like a ping pong match of tracing, 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 trace. And I don't think that that's going to happen. So that's pretty much it for today. I hope you found that one interesting. It's been heavily requested, and so I hope that answered a lot of your questions. So yeah, that's all today. All that's left to be said is I've been Fufu, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.